There is a lot of people that struggle with this. And again, it falls in the branch of discipline, self-discipline. For example, self-control. Let's say you just got your check and a friend of yours is like, hey, you want to hang out? I haven't seen you in a long time. I'm going to be in town. That's a difficult decision right there, because you haven't really seen this friend in a couple of years and you really want to hang out with him, but you're on a budget. And what happens? You end up taking that little hangout. Why? Because it's a once in a life experience, right? He's going to leave in a week. You may not see him in the rest of that week, just that day. But guess who's the one who's going to end up broke, not paying the rent? Self-control. I've seen a lot of people struggling with that.
I got a solution for that one.
Go ahead.
So I'm 50. Lockie, how old are you?
I am 37. 37.
And Simon, how old are you?
47.
So you're about my age. And Austin?
Yeah.
Oh boy, 28.
Yeah, he's the youngest.
You're half. So let me tell you something, Austin, because this one's more focused at Austin than at Lockie, But Lockie, you're second runner up. And Simon, for you and me, it's almost too late, but it's not too late. But it's almost too late. If you have $100 and you invest it, let's say you make $100 this weekend, Lockie, you're performing on OnlyFans and she gives you $100. You take the $100 and you invest it. And the typical returns in an American stock market over time are about 7 to 8% a year, which doesn't sound like a lot. But if I take $100 I made on OnlyFans this weekend, or maybe playing in a church band and they give me $100, I take $100, I can blow it with my buddies at the bar, right? Gone. If you invest it in a year, you'll have $7. And every year after, you'll have $7. So if you can wait a year, I can tell my buddies, hey, I got $7 to meet you one night a year, buy myself a beer or buy myself a burger. And that is forever. So the $100 you make this weekend gives you $7 a year forever. It will never run out. And if you do that a couple of times, $100 this weekend, $100 next weekend, drive for Uber, $100 on a Thursday night. Now $300 gives you $21 a year for free forever. And the $300 doesn't go away. So if you're going out on the current paychecks, you're doing it wrong. You should be going out on the residual passive income. And everyone can do this. You don't need to be smart or rich. You could do it with $100 and take that $7 out next year and go and spend the $7.
Okay, I'm not the greatest with math, but I might have you inbox me that, like all that information.
You got it.
I'm gonna keep.
I'll make a YouTube video explaining it with all the charts and links and everything. And by the way, I don't charge for my information, and I don't post affiliate links. I don't even try and scam you on a $1, $1 affiliate link. So, but think about that. That's what I do. That's my motivation there, Rose. So I'll leave the torch to you three guys.
That's why I brought you here. I personally think you're amazing.
I'm old.
Excuse me, sir. Listen, we're all getting there. I'm just breaking my 29th next month. I'm 30. I'm 30 next month. So
I've already been treating you like you're 30, so don't worry.
Oh, I appreciate. Thank you. It will soften the fall for me. It will soften the fall for me. Self-control, not only when you're spending money, but for example, peer pressure. Men are very easy to follow on peer pressure. Why? Because men want to be the alpha. It don't matter if they're not the alpha in their group. They always want to be the ones one-upping, not because of any evil thoughts, but because it's in their nature to be rulers, to be conquerors. At least that's my outlook when I observe men in their natural habitat. How can you control peer pressure when somebody comes at you and they're like, let's do this, oh, do that, oh, that's gonna be really cool. Can you go over there and talk to that girl? You have a lady. Are you gonna go talk to that girl? Or you just don't want to?
I was just about to say,
next to your friends. How can we solve that?
I'll take that one. I believe that and I'll say this because I never really been bad with money. Growing up, how I did in the hood, when you don't have a lot of money, you learn how to save stuff. So money was never really a bad object for me, learning how to save, but it was more so definitely in that area of peer pressure, doing the right thing when it came to decisions, and being disciplined, having that self-determination and not do what's there, even when it's easy to get away with. Literally, I just was in like a 4-year relationship. Stayed faithful all 4 of those years. That is not an easy task for somebody from between the ages of 32, 33 to 37. It's like, it's not, especially in this day and age, where everything is accessible. Facebook, Instagram, what your brother said over here, OnlyFans, never been on it, but heard about some things.
Listen,
like,
OnlyFans, it may surprise you. It's not only for that type of content. There's people that actually go there and give you language tutoring. Like, you want to learn
Really?
Chinese, it's okay. Go ahead, subscribe. I'm going to teach you Chinese. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
It's
See,
just,
OnlyFans got a bad reputation for nothing.
That's
obviously,
crazy.
it started as
Wow.
something like Patreon, but then all the ladies got there and saw it as an opportunity. Hey, I don't blame them. Sometimes you just gotta hustle, and they found
Oh
that
yeah, when it's
hustle.
a boat to hop on, everybody's gonna hop on the boat,
Yeah,
guaranteed. Yeah.
but yeah, they did left a bad reputation on that. There is a lot of other things that you can do on OnlyFans. Actually, I try to trick some people. If it wasn't for Bella Thorne, I would have been able to succeed on that. I was gonna put a sexy picture of me, which wasn't really me, and I was gonna say something really provocative. And when they subscribe to my channel, all they were gonna see is classes of me teaching them Spanish.
It's a
And
genius idea.
the first intro video was like, hey, I know what you're looking for, but guess what? I got something better. Education, a new language. Yeah, that was funny. But Bella Thorne put out her profile, and she said, oh, this is hot, this is spicy. In one day, she made like $20 million or something. And all of the pictures and the videos that she had there were the videos and pictures that she already had in Instagram. Tell me if that's not a scam.
Most would have fall fell it. They definitely would have fell for it.
They fell and made her a nice tack.
I would say like self-control too. All right, so we're gonna bring out my law enforcement, my Marine Corps background, my martial arts background. So and that falls into peer pressure as well. So it wasn't until recently, within the last year or so, where like if you are like so adamant about getting me to do something, you'll actually push me away. Like I'll literally say, forget about that. Like y'all got to go somewhere. Back then, so Marine Corps wise, it was very easy. Like, oh, you won't go fight that big dude right there with all the tattoos all over his body. His friends are going to jump you. Oh yeah, we're going over. We were very quick to do it, and this is true, by the way. We get ourselves in trouble. Finances, when I finally hit it big in the film industry, I came into some money. I'm not going to say anything incriminating. Did stupid things, kind of fell away from God there for a little while. It was a big part of my depression. Or falling back into depression, already dealing with that, already dealing with PTSD and stuff from, previous years. I came into that money and, I went and I bought a Dodge Charger, I bought it cash. And then I went and I dropped like $12,000 into performance for it. And I was racing it and I was doing all kinds of other stuff. And this isn't incriminatory. I already got in trouble for it. So, I could say it out loud, like, we would run, it was like, you're not catching this. One day, this was a lesson learner for me, is I thought this dude was my homeboy, and I kind of took a fall for him. And by the grace of God, I didn't actually get in trouble too much. But so, he was about to get caught up, Jack's Beach Police, came up and they were about to snag him. And so I cut him off and I whipped a U-turn. But then I saw all of them up ahead of me and all around me. So I was like, I'm not even gonna run. Like, I'm just gonna go ahead and pull over. you know, they got out, they said, you know, shut your car off, blah, blah, blah. By the grace of God, I didn't go to jail, but I did, you know, I am still to this day, you know, it's $1,000. Like any insurance company for me to be on insurance right now until September of this year, you know, I've been dealing with this until this September, it'll all fall off. But, you know, everything that we do has consequences. So,
Mm-hmm.
you know, you know, God used these moments to also teach me, you know, and make me wise. So now, you know, when it comes to finances, now when it comes to peer pressure, I'm like, no, dude. No, I paid the consequences for years because of, you know, something stupid that I did. And then that person, that very same day, we never talked again.
You know,
After
something
that.
very important. I am a former behavior therapist for children, and something very, very, very important that I learned from that field of work was the fact that for you to have a consequence, you need a antecedent, and the antecedent is not the behavior. The behavior is what causes the consequence. The antecedent is the precursor, the thought process that got you there. And it's just funny that you mentioned that, because how do you feel now looking back at all that you did? Do you feel that now you can look at yourself and say you are more disciplined now? You can
Oh,
stop
yes,
and think before taking action and think
absolutely.
about the possible consequences that may get you in trouble.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's one of the things that, you know, that falls under, you know, what God has been doing for me in recent years is, you know, oftentimes, you know, the devil will try to sneak up with some shame and all this, right? But you know, I've already surrendered that to Christ, so I don't have to worry about that no more. So when people
Yes.
bring up my past, I tell them, I said, man, that's not me no more. I
And that's
said,
not me anymore. Good job.
who I am now is completely different. You know, God defines who I am now. Back then, it was me trying to define who I am and trying to find myself and my identity
Through
so,
others.
through others. You know, trying to,
Mm-hmm.
and even recent, you know, it's still a battle. But you know, now if you try to peer pressure me, now if you try to take me away from what God wants for me, you know, all the good He has for me and what He wants me to do for others and pouring into others, I'll quickly shut you down.
What about you, Simon? Do you struggle with self-control? A lot of people do. I did at a certain point in my life. I struggled a lot with it. And just because I wanted to be someone, let's put it like that, I didn't realize that I was already someone. Um, example, I used to feel that if I didn't take off my clothes, I was not gonna succeed in the film industry. And to some extent, yeah, because sex sells. But again, do I want to be partaking in that? Not really. My spirit is not into that. So, yeah, it's a little struggle-ish because I love acting and because I may not be the most beautiful woman in the world, but I'm cute and they see a nice body, a nice face. Let's get her naked. Let's get her on a sex scene. Let's get her on a romance scene and get her all touched up and all grabbed up. I just didn't want to. It felt uncomfortable to an extent. One time I was on set and this man grabbed me by my waist and pulled me closer, which was part of the script. And I did it. That was okay. But when the director said cut and I sat down to rest, my spirit was just not having it. My spirit told me, why are you doing this? Why are you, if you come from Puerto Rico, when you say, are you a piece of bread? This ain't no bakery. So basically, I was like feeling like a piece of dough. Every time I go on set, there was someone that was required to touch me in an intimate way. And I was just not having it. My spirit was getting darker and darker. And I was starting to spend time with the wrong company that wanted to enable me to do those type of things because they were doing it too. And yeah, it felt good in the very beginning. I was like, oh, this may be a good way to break the ice and I won't have problems with the nudity and the stuff. And the problem wasn't the nudity. The problem was how the world was going to perceive me once I exposed my spirit, my beauty, my nakedness, my My chastity. You know, a lot of people are brutal. We live in a very, very brutal world. So you got to be very, you got to put on the full armor of God. Let's put it like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, there is just no other way to put it. The full armor of God. You got to put it on and say, okay, God, I'm gonna do my best to stand by this. And if I can't, please send me the strength to be able to go through it. So what about you, Simon? Self-control. Self-control, not just peer pressure or money spending. For example, putting 7 alarms in the morning. You're supposed to just wake up in one. That's self-discipline. If you wake up at once, a tip, charge your phone really far away from your bed to force you to stand up and go and turn it off.
Gotta get up.
Gotta get up, or it's not gonna stop. And once you're up, you're like, okay, well, fuck it, I'm already up here, so let's just keep going. So yeah, when I talk about self-control, I want you guys to perceive it as a very ambiguous topic, because it is. Self-control is not just infidelity, but money spending, peer pressure, not being able to set discipline for yourself, like daily steps to
Anger, tempers.
Facts.
All of that. So
Perception. I want to piggyback off that after Simon and Adam get done. I wanted to mention something about perception. I like what you said about perception. Yeah, go ahead, y'all.
Awesome. Go ahead, Simon.
Gosh, there's loads of things I could talk about on this subject. Damn. I would say an anger thing, because out in society, I expect people to have common sense. Yeah, I expect people to have common sense of decency. So if you okay, so let's say tonight I was walking home, and I had no room other than to go onto the road where cars were coming by, and this group of people just weren't moving out of the way. So, and it annoyed me. It really annoyed me.
I mean, it does. It's like not just common sense, but you got to understand that there's people that just winged it till here. They just wing it to here. They don't have any discipline. They don't have any sense of responsibility or logic. And sometimes when you realize that, you're like, okay, I got to have a little more tact with people to be able to restrain my anger. Example,
yeah.
Let me give this person a chance, let them talk. As soon as they say something stupid, you're like, okay, I understand. Okay, well, thank you for your time. And that's it. Dismiss and never talk to them again.
Yeah, I mean, I tonight I just ended up bumping into them, because I just thought to myself, well, you know what? If you're not going to move, I'm going to move out of the way as much as I can. But still, even then, I ended up bumping into them, and neither of us said anything. I just walked on by and so did they. So none of us got angry, but internally I did. Because I just thought, well, you know what? You should have the decency to kind of, you know, just see that I haven't got anywhere to go. You guys have. You know, I was on one side of the curb. I was on the side of the curb of the pavement where, you know, where the only place I could go was in the road, and I'm not going to put my life in danger for anyone.
At least you got self-control, though, not to say anything.
Exactly.
Yeah, but internally, I just the non-self-control of that is me getting angry in the first place, because then I'm not understanding where
the problem is that you didn't get angry at them, but you get angry at yourself.
At yourself,
now
right.
You have all that feelings
well,
inside on you, and you cannot break it down.
Because naturally he wants to express that anger. Like he wanted to say something passing them guys.
Exactly.
I know I would have.
When I'm angry, I want to say something, and I get really mad when I don't get to say it. So
believe me, I have done it. I've done total kind of.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I have done it. So I mean, I'm not saying that but tonight I didn't, because maybe because I was just absolutely tired because my bike has got a flat tire, so I've been walking all over the place this week. So I've just been too tired basically to probably do two talk back at
Simon, do you know what you need? You need some Heelys.
some what?
You need
Some
some
what?
Heelys. Yeah. Listen, Adam, I'm about to get mine. I'm hating. I'm already hating. No, look, I have something to tell you, Simon. And obviously don't take this in any wrong way. This is for us to confide, like, confide in each other and advise each other. Um, there is this quote that says the weakest man is the loudest in the room. So
Oh
always
yeah.
think about that quote when you feel that your anger is about to explode. Do you want to be the weakest man in the room, or do you want to be the bigger one?
Perception. Go right back to that.
Yeah. And I mean, the other thing I think I could say about my self-control is my OCD. I mean, I always come back at least 2 or 3 times to check if my door is
Yes.
locked. That my
Boy.
my door is locked, and the
Larage.
reason being is because I've got a heck of a lot of equipment here that has just cost so much, and I'm just afraid of, Camden Town has very much a huge drug and alcohol problem, a lot more than any
Wow.
other, a lot more than any other borough in London. And this, I've come down to my front door and found homeless people sleeping. Not to say that every single homeless person is going to do that, but that people that I don't know sleeping outside my door, it does raise concern, and it does put thoughts into the back of my mind. What if one of these people, or whoever, or someone who's off their face, that isn't homeless, it'll just walks on by and decides to try and break in, or someone just drunk off their face, decides to try and break in. And so or when I leave every single morning, I have to check, have I locked that door? So and when really all I need to do is just check once, to be honest.
Yep.
And just remember, I think that's more to do with my memory than anything. But the other thing is as well, and this goes to my past. I mean, I used to take drugs quite regularly, and I'm not talking about cannabis either.
I want you to feel comfortable to say anything because we learn from our mistakes. That is just how we stop making mistakes.
This was 10 years ago, and more than 10 years ago, actually. Yeah, a little bit more than 10 years ago. And I got myself into some serious trouble, and I through that, I'm the person that I am today, that I've learned a hell of a lot more, because back then I was this was before I got into the film industry. Back then I just kind of I know I wanted to do something creative, and I had a camera, but my mind was just so consumed with the fact of survival, like it has been since I moved down to London when I was 19. So I've been here almost 30 years now. So I just, and all the time from when I was 19 to when I'm to now to 12 years ago, I was doing office jobs, I was doing retail jobs, just jobs that I hated just to survive. And it was because of that I ended up kind of running away from myself, because I just wasn't satisfied with myself. I wasn't satisfied with what I was doing, like I am now. I mean, the last job that I had was an IT contracting job that paid me £2,000 per week, and I'm making nowhere near that much now. However, I'm more richer within my soul from what I'm doing now, from what I am doing now to what I was doing back then, and that's where it counts.
Well, I want to tell you something. I'm not sure if you've heard it enough, but you are enough. You are enough, and you are good just the way you are. I love how you brought up your past struggles and how you raised yourself out of that. A lot of people don't have that. Yesterday, I was watching this movie, Beautiful Boy, with Timothy Chalamet or something. I don't remember. But it's about a dad who is the protagonist of The Office, Steven. He is a dad of Timothy, and he had a heroin addiction. And the whole movie is his dad trying to save him out of there. And it touched me because I'm a parent, and I cannot imagine how would I react if I know that my kids are abusing and they are in the edge of death. How can I save them from a death that they are the only ones that can escape from? I cannot save it. I cannot save them. I cannot. Anything I say, they will use it as a fuel to go and get high again, because they will, anything that I say that it's against what they believe is going to sound like rejection. And that's what they will do. They will go and get that high because that high made them feel more welcoming, more that sense of belonging. So I'm really, really happy that you came out of that and that you're talking with us right now and that you've been sober, I assume. I hope so.
Yeah.
But
I
I
have been
just
for a
wanted
long
to say
time.
that.
I've been for a long time, yeah.
I'm glad.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things. I mean, you're just touching on rejection right there. I mean, I was going to say that a lot of this comes back from when I was. I mean, this is one of the things that I recognized through the therapy that I've got and everything that, which I was damn lucky because this is private therapy that I got for free since 2015. So a lot of the things go back to how I was, or how I felt about my parents when I was a little kid, which I've dealt with now. But unfortunately, even now, I don't have a very good relationships with my parents. So I've had to try and get the closure that I wanted from that.
Something about parents is that toxic relationships come in any form.
Yeah.
They can come in the form of friendship, in the form of your mom, in the form of your dad, in the form of your siblings or your cousins, anyone. So don't feel devastated because that connection is broken. It can be fixed. It depends in the will of all the parties. I can see in your face that you do want to connect, but you don't have to force yourself in a space where you're not welcome. Why would you want to be there? Why would you make that? Why would you do that to yourself?
I do, but I think it's about accepting the fact that I'm never going to have the parents that I've ever wanted. Have you ever seen? I take it you guys have seen Top Gun Maverick.
Ooh, I remember classic.
Yeah,
I don't think I've
classic.
seen all of it. I don't think I've seen all of it. And I know
No,
it's a classic.
the new one, the new one.
Oh, the new one. They have a new one out, and I haven't seen it yet.
Oh, right. There's okay. I don't know if I don't know if I should say it, but that a certain officer from the original says to Maverick, and man, it just really hit me hard. You basically says to him, "It's time to let go."
Yeah.
And when I saw that, oh my God, it was so relative to how I felt about my parents, because I thought, I thought stepping away from my parents like I did for 2 years back in 2019, it would solve it. And I was doing it for my own sanity, but I think I was doing it out of bitterness. And what that part of that film said to me was that I had to let that bitterness go.
Yeah, I agree.
I have to have the best relationship that I can, even though it's not the one that I want. I have to have the best relationship, or a relationship that I can with my parents before I can't have a relationship with them anymore.
No, listen, I agree. I agree when it comes to your families, but I don't. How can I because I just don't want to make it religious, because I already have 2 people here that want to spread the word, but
And
I
I was
want
about
to
to.
I
I'm
want to
not gonna
stay
lie.
unbiased so that I can be with
Listen.
everyone at the same time.
And I'm
Let
withholding
it go
some
with
of
forgiveness.
I'm withholding some of my beliefs just so I
But
can be
there
devil's
is
advocate here,
just-
just so I can just throw out all different types of, you know, ways that I know homeboys that I know personally that don't believe. I know they have questions and stuff that they want to say. So I want to speak from them. You know, I want to live vicariously through them and, you know, say certain things that I know others want and struggle with and have, you know. So I'm going to be throwing out a lot of questions that I don't necessarily agree with, but I know others do have those type of questions. So
Okay,
I'm going to play
before you
both
do
sides
that,
of the field.
before you do that, I want Adam to talk about his self-control. Adam, you are a very carefree bro. Talk to me about your self-control.
So the word that I had said to define myself was patience. And I can't think of anything negative that we would assign as a negative outcome that patience doesn't cure. Like I get that paycheck and everybody wants to spend it right away. You want to, Austin wants to buy, or was it Simon? One of you guys wanted to buy an expensive car. And I, you know,
That was me.
for
Yeah.
me, yeah, for me, wanting to spend the money today doesn't make sense because patience always meant that I could wait until a moment happened. Everything I've bought, whether it's $100,000 cameras for half price or houses for half price, I bought because another man bought impatiently, and he had to get out of it. And I was there with the money, and I got a great deal on it. And it's true of vacations. That's true of airfare. That's true of, I can't think of a time, you know, where I needed to feel like I had to jump in on it. Even with peer pressure when I was a kid, a lot of times people are like, well, you got to buy these tickets. You got to get these tickets. They're going to sell out.
Mm-hmm.
Except what people don't know is every concert in the world, the day of the concert, a few hours before the show starts, they
I know
release
that.
seats.
I
They
knew
release
that.
seats. And they're really good seats. They're right up in front of the stage because they don't know where the speakers are going to go today. They don't know where the curtains are going to go today. So all of a sudden they build their speakers, they build their curtains. And 3 hours before the show, I'm in the third row because they release the cheap seats. They want people there. So for me, my motivation has always been, I'm not in a rush to make a decision today. If someone's pressuring me to make a decision today, it's never in my best interest. And it doesn't matter what it is. If a girl made an ultimatum and, you know, choose me between me and going out and throwing a frisbee, well, my plan was I was going to go out and throw a frisbee. And something that my mentor taught me 30 years ago, 35 years ago, he said, one of the most important things to do is to take the things that your friends regret and use those as a tactic to celebrate the things that you're glad you did. So if I want to go out and do drugs, Simon, or if I want to go out and buy an expensive car, Austin, or Lockie, I don't know what your negative attribute was for
I got
spending.
plenty of them. I got
But
plenty of them.
If I
We
wanna-
all have them.
If I want to do that, maybe it makes sense for me to say, you know what, I'm not going to get high until I finish this movie that I haven't even written. And then by the time the movie's finished, getting high doesn't sound so great, or buying the car doesn't sound so great. But here's where I differentiate, because I'm not better than any of you guys. I have my sins, of course, but where I differentiate is I'm not a creator and I'm not a creative person. I'm a producer. Only thing that matters to me is satisfying an addicted audience with the product that they want to mass consume hype today. And I do that for money. I don't do that for fame. I don't do that for importance. I don't do that to feel better. I don't do that because I want people to love me. I make products that people are addicted to consuming, TV and, you know, movies and video games and whatever it is that I produce. I'm not the creator of it. I don't really care about it. I wish I could. I wish I could write a story. I wish I could tell a joke. I wish I could dance. I wish I could act. Yeah, no, but the thing is, my mindset, I don't have like you have the OCDs. You guys all nodded your head at the same time about OCD. I don't really give a shit if my front door is open. Please go steal all my equipment because the insurance company will buy me newer, better stuff anyway.
Well, I wish I had that kind of patience.
Yeah,
I mean,
that kind of control. That's why that man earned a big bucks.
Hey, that's a positivity mindset.
When I was young, I was rich. I'm not anymore, but when I was young, I was really rich. I struck some big some big gambles in my life, and it paid off. And then I got married and lost it all. But I used to drive a brand new Land Rover, and when I would go out to restaurants or clubs or the theater, I would park the thing on the sidewalk, not on the street. I would park it on the sidewalk, and I'd leave it running all night, so that way it would be chilled in the summer or it would be warm in the winter. And nobody ever stole it because they thought, who would leave a car on the sidewalk running in a bad neighborhood? They thought
Yeah,
it
that's
was
weird.
the
That's
cops
a
doing
trap.
something. They thought it was the cops trying to entrap them. So
Mhm.
basically, I was doing the opposite of what everyone else was doing. I was hoping they would steal the darn thing because there was a newer model that came out, and the insurance company would probably pay me for it. So I haven't locked my front door to my house in probably 30 years. I leave my
Wow.
keys in my car unlocked always because I don't have the OCD, but you need that OCD for you guys to create, for you guys to drive yourself to perfection. You need that. And me as a producer, the only thing I look at as a producer is, did I make more money for the time I invested than the money that I invested before the time? That's the only thing that defines it. And it's not, so for me, my motivation comes from the audience, but I'm not like you where I think about pleasing them in terms of my acting ability or my writing ability or my special effects ability. All I care is that they consume, that they push that button. And that's what a producer's lifestyle is about. We study the audience. We watch the audience. We don't watch the TV.
Yeah, you know what?
That's good.
I gotta educate myself a
super
little bit
good.
into that because I've been looking in the wrong direction. I've been looking about production and all that stuff, but I don't focus on the audience. But that's the thing, Adam.
So
You're
when
a
you make
genius on that because you pay attention to the audience.
Genius.
But
Yeah.
the audience is
when
a
you make
mess these days.
when you make a song, when you make a song, when you make a short film, when you make a music video, what you do is you find about 10 of your colleagues, your competitors, find 10 of them, and and don't tell anyone it's your event, but together promote an event and say, we got this event's going on. We pay $10 a person to come and watch it and tell us what they feel. And don't invite your friends, don't invite your family. Post about it, offer $10, rent a local church, show your music videos one after another, show your comedy skit that you recorded, show your dramatic skit, whatever. Dim the lights, get your stopwatch, hit play, start the stopwatch, and you're underneath the TV screen. Nobody can see you because it's dark, and you're watching them. And every time someone pulls out their phone or whispers to the girl next to them or yawns, write down the times. Write down 18 seconds. People lost interest. 1 minute, 8 seconds. People lost interest. And then you go to your editor and you yell at them and you scream at them and you say, at 18 seconds, what can we do right here? People lost interest. Can we show nudity? Can we get Rose Sanchez to come and show some butt here at 18 seconds? Because people lost interest. Because people lost interest at 1 minute 18 seconds. What in my song, you're playing your new tune, and people aren't, they're not bobbing their head to it, or they lost interest. Now you just paid a very little bit amount of a couple $100 to vet your masterpiece, and you can't share it on your Facebook. Your friends are going to love it. Your mom is going to love it. Your dad is going to love it. Your girlfriend's going to love it. Your kids are going to love it. Your wife is going to love it. If you pay people for the honest truth and they don't know who you are, you will get the honest truth and you'll make it better. You'll refine it. You'll edit it. You'll redo the song, whatever it is it takes. And that's the key to success. And guess what that's about? That's about patience.
Yeah.
And Hollywood does it over and over and over again. Music producers do it over. They recut the same song. Sometimes they add that little in the back of the song because it was missing it. And the audience was losing their interest in just the drum. They were losing interest in the drum and bass. So they add that little hi-hat in there, and they do it again. They pay the audience to come on out, listen to these 10 songs. We're not going to tell you who it is. And then you can watch them. You don't have to get their notes. You don't have to ask them a single question. All you got to do is watch them without them knowing you're watching them.
Yeah,
You can tell
basically
exactly what-
it's like having
Yeah,
production and
that's
audience and learning a way to connect them. Find something in between that your product engages that
Man.
audience.
Man, y'all are giving me
Am I
jewels
l-
right now. Like y'all know how
Dude.
expensive these jewels are.
We're
y'all
all
drop?
learning here.
My
We're all
God.
learning here.